Welcome to Sailing Frida Wisby. In this episode we will enjoy river anchoring and do not just one but two river excursions before we leave the River Arno.
It's a nice sail we get today.
Back to lovely Elba, where we all have a really good time until
We are being checked by Guardia Financia right now.
the plan is to go to an anchorage around the island, but the sailing there is maybe too exciting.
We refill in. There's one more.
Luckily we got to Port Rossor without any accidents.
Now we are anchored.
Welcome to Sailing Frida Wisby. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let's summarize what's been written in the logbook before. Our story began in Yarmouth on Isle of Wight, where we bought Frida a Wauquiez 47 pilot saloon. In spring 2020 we sailed her home to Gotland. After some boat fix and sailing in the Baltic Sea during the summer, we were ready to start our big adventure and a new lifestyle. We sailed along the Atlantic coast of Europe towards the Mediterranean Sea. We spent our first winter in Dieppe in France, where we went up and down in the daily tidal elevator. We spent the whole season getting south to Lagos in Portugal, where we upgraded Frida with a solar arch. Then we changed course completely due to the Wauquiez situation and headed west to Madeira and the Azores. After 2 years we reached the legendary Gibraltar Rock and we entered the Mediterranean Sea. Since then have we cruised around in the Med, learned to say hola, bonjour, ciao and calimera, explored historic sites and beautiful landscape, enjoyed good local food. In May 2025 we made our first landfall in Argostoli in Greece. We fell in love with the Ionian Islands and the Greek people, so we decided to stay in this area for another year. I am Gitte, this is Anders, and this is our cat Litza. Please subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and remember, thumbs ups always makes us happy. 2024 sailing season was our Italian cruising season, so in this and upcoming videos we will share everything from Cagliari to Marina di Ragusa. I decided to take the kayak up the river to explore, relax and get some exercise. And the next day I decided to do it again, but this time with Anders in the dinghy. Dinghy excursion up the River Arno. Our goal is to go as far as we can come on 50% of our electric battery. And our friends Lotta and Magnus are bodying with us, and it feels a little bit like a turtle race. This is actually the first long-distance test we do with the Torpedo motor. We really enjoy how quiet our electric motor for the dinghy are, and the sound of the water is actually louder than the motor. Really gives a different perspective to travel up the river this way. I have heard about deep cleaning, but I think this is a little too much. Wonder what happened to it. I think this might be the graph. It's coming towards us. It's like yesterday. Beautiful bird. Slowly going up the River Arno.
We are not very fast, neither of us, and we want to be a bit conservative with the battery, but it's against the current. So despite we are not gone very far, we have already used 30% of the battery.
Close to 40 now.
Close to 40, okay.
Yeah, but
So
we're running very close to full speed.
okay.
Due to that we have
The current
against us.
Yeah. And we are not quite up where I turned around with the kayak yesterday.
The current would probably be less strong closer to the bank, but on the other side,
No.
you don't know what's beneath the surface, and the water is quite, well, opaque.
On that
We
branch
didn't find a good place to go ashore and have our picnic, so we decided to do a dinghy picnic instead.
And now we're going to have a little picnic. We have now had our coffee and tuna salad, and we have turned around because we reached 50% of our battery capacity, but since Mara continued a little bit up, so that's
That's the way battery works.
yeah. But on the other hand, we have a nice, calm, and no problem to speak, while they couldn't hear anything because the engine is so loud.
Yeah, and we get back to the boat and recharge the battery for free. They have to buy petrol.
Yeah.
There are plus and minus with everything.
But it was fun to do this little river cruise. Oh, now there's coming a river boat catching up with us. It came right after we had anchored, also full of kids. I wonder if it's kids in this one as well. Yeah, they're waving. Hello. Hi, hi. That's so sweet. All the kids are waving at us. That's the restaurant that we were eating at the other day. Nice up. Approaching the wreck. Looks like the boat is bigger than the house.
And on the other side, there is a big farm.
The battery just alerted, but it's 30% left. But it's probably just a warning.
Yeah.
I don't think we have ever taken it this far down.
No.
So we actually don't know how it's supposed to be. There's the kids at the riverboat again.
Yeah, so we managed to get back to her without rowing. We had a quiet evening, and the next day we were going up early to leave the river.
Start the motor and lift the anchor. So now we have lifted up the anchor and are going out of the river Arno. We plan to sail back to Elba, to Port of Fridá, because the wind is going to turn all the way around from all directions, and that is, apart from here, more or less the only place we know about where we will be protected. So we think we have been here long enough. The famous fishing huts again. In there behind is the big Marina di Pisa. They wanted 90 something euros per night for us, and we paid 60 something
60 in there.
in the Marina.
Zero on anchor.
And 0 on anchor, yeah. So a good saving to go up the river a little bit. And it was nice. It was different. The marina would be not just another big marina. This was an experience. So now we have to pass the shallow area. I don't remember what our record was sailing in.
It was 2.7. The lowest I've seen here is 3.1.
Okay. Well, 2.7 shouldn't be any problem at all for us. 3.5 meters, so no worries. Is someone else going out? Probably know the river a little bit better than us, because they're going faster. So now we leave mainland Italy and lovely Tuscany behind. Actually, Elba belongs to Tuscany, so we are not leaving Tuscany, but the mainland part of it for this time. This is Marina di Pisa. That's the now name of the city as well as the marina. And that is quite common here in Italy, that city has a city which is by the sea, and that city is called Marina di, and the name of the city which is laying a little bit inland. Yeah, motor sailing for the moment. That says up. We're not quite far enough from land to get the breeze. You can feel it, it's coming.
We are making water, and due to that it has been night. All the batteries from solar are more or less empty, so the wind is a little low, so I kept the motor going to keep some extra electricity for the water maker.
There is hardly any wind at all.
But on the positive note, no wind, easier in the galley.
Unfortunately, not fresh caught. But so we just had our fish burgers. Yes, sailing quite nicely. 4.8 knots in 9 knots of wind.
It's quite common in the Mediterranean that the wind pick up in the afternoon, but it's still smooth enough for making this.
For the afternoon coffee. Baked at sea. So, time for afternoon coffee.
If this is not champagne sailing, I don't know what is.
We are sailing really fast in this wind.
We are doing like 8 knots in 14 knots of wind. Going really nice here.
Yeah.
With full Genoa and full main.
Yeah, and we were expecting almost no wind at all, so this is great.
This is perfect.
An apple a day.
Apple.
Best snacks.
Now the wind has died down again, but
It's not far. So we are relaxing here a little bit, and then I think we might start the engine for the last bit. We have had a really lovely sail here back to Elba. Nice view of the town here. Litza thinks this is very unfair. Yeah, not fair at all. I want out.
we usually close the door so she can't get out when we are going to anchor or dock in a marina. But she thinks we are there because it's so smooth.
So now the sails are away, and I will go up on foredeck and we will try to find a good spot to anchor. Anchor ready, stubber ready. Sailboats. We have our headsets on as usual, so that we can easily communicate. The only problem with that is that you can't hear what Anna says, but I can. It's 3.8 meters deep. We're soon going to drop. We're just going to let
some of the speed wear off. And I thought I would share with you how we anchor, especially when we know it's soft mud. Don't continue past our anchor when we drop it. Now it looks like the forward drift has stopped, and that means time to drop. 12.5. We usually put out about 10 to 15 meters. Then we just let the boat settle, the anchor settle, without really doing anything. So that's what we are doing now. And there you see the chain is straightening up, so the boat will automatically turn and come behind the anchor. And about here, I will let a little bit more chain out. 10 meters, Anders. Okay. I think we are there. So now we are waiting for the chain to straighten up again. Let the wind do the work. Because it's mud here. So if you pull too much too early, you will just drag it around. So this way, you are a little bit more gentle. Let the anchor and the chain do its thing. We are almost straight behind the anchor now. I would actually say we are behind the anchor now. Shall we reverse? Now, reversing slow. First I check the chain, so I know when it has straightened out totally. And it's coming now. And there it's straight. And now I look for a point on land, or actually 2 points on land. So the masts and the houses are good points. And I keep my eyes fixed on those. So I can zoom in a little. You see the masts, the marina, and the houses behind the windows. And I find a mast and a window that align. Then I just reverse. 800. Now increase to 1,000. 1,000 reps. Looks like we are standing still. Well, I think that was just that we straightened up the chain a little bit more. You can see the water is on east by our engine blast, but we are not moving, what I can see. That's it. Now I put the snubber on. So take the snubber, put it over the chain like this. Then this flap goes around, and this is the tricky part. Get that over that knob. I usually have to use 2 hands for that. Now you can see it's on. So now the snubber sits around the chain. There it is. There's that one. So it's tied. It's hanging there. The last step is to let a little bit more chain out, so that you see that the snubber hangs in the line and not the chain. And with that, the anchoring is finished, and we can enjoy the rest of the evening. And if you find this kind of things useful, please drop a comment down below.
Litza is happy. Can you check now? Check that the snubber is on, the anchor is down. Is everything alright? She was a very pissed off cattain when she was not allowed to come out. But now you're happy. Now you're happy. Okay, I agree, Litza. This line doesn't look good. That's better.
Happy place again after a very nice sailing day. I think I have the best grill placement on a boat. Anchor grilling, just the way I love it.
And we will manage to do it before sunset.
To me, good food is very important, and the next day to tomorrow, they really made sure we got a lot of good food.
Är det lingonsylt?
Ja. It is lingonberry jam.
Okay, Lotta has taken over the grill.
Nej,
Frida bläckfisken.
Ja, den var jättegod.
Ja, den måste jag hitta. Så varsågod, lite grönsaker.
Lotta and Magnus is coming here and making dinner for us. Really luxury. Earlier today they came with a nice cake and broccoli. I made a salad and they have some sparkling red wine.
Yeah.
That's unusual.
We have to try it first.
Yes.
yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It was really good. Thanks for a great evening.
Remember, sunset always makes us happy.
After that very important message, I want to share with you how our editing studio looked that day. I sure prefer this as an office.
We are being checked by Guardia Financia right now. They wanted to see the boat documents and our passports. And, the driver is close up, and we have suddenly tested our radar anchor alarm, and Anders has turned it off now because it kept beeping, because he keeps the boat just a few meters behind us. It's actually quite skilled. We just got our papers back and everything was all right.
And we think that the crew actually liked our radar proximity alarm. Litza the cattain, she took the control with ease. Time for more food.
Swordfish, mashed potatoes and spinach. That's the dinner for tonight.
Let's go.
Okay, time for us to leave and go around the island. And I will show you how we departure as well. First I take the snubber off, and then it's time to raise the chain. When we are approaching where the anchor will lift, I take it very slowly. And that is to avoid a hard bump on the winch in case the anchor stops. You can hear the chain is squeaking right until the anchor actually lifts, and then it goes easy again. As soon as it has lifted from the bottom, I usually tell Anders, and he usually reverses to get the mud off.
Kör sakta. Let it hang just below the surface, and Anders will drive slowly. He's reversing, he said. Get the mud out.
But sometimes I have to get the boat who can push it off. But I think this time it's success. And sometimes it helps to raise it and dip it several times.
Almost there. Yes, clean anchor. Clean anchor coming out. That was a little tricky to get it clean this time. But we knew it was the same the last time. It's very muddy here, but it's good holding. It's been almost gale while we have been here, and we haven't moved an inch. At least not the anchor. We have, because as usual we have been turning around because the wind direction has changed all the way around. So now we say goodbye to Porto Ferrai and get a nice view over this ship. We can really recommend a visit to Elba. We are underway. Not anchored anymore. Yes, a little sail. We want it already now. We are still in the ferry.
Yeah.
It's going fast with lots of people. Yeah, boats like that also create quite a wake that you are bouncing in when you're anchored there.
I think it's a dive shop in there.
Yeah, and they don't care about the cruisers laying at anchor outside.
So that.
Nice view over the town.
And on top of the hill you see the castle where Napoleon was kind of prisoner. Because he was expelled from France, but given the rule of Elba.
And we are using one of the small projects Anders did this winter. We have turned the lid around that we have here in the table so that those cup holders comes up. Not because we are expecting particular hard wind, actually we don't, but just to test it out. But as I think we have already noticed, they are a little too narrow for our big glasses. So this hole here, Anders has made a little bit wider. So that's the task. So to make the other ones a little bit wider as well. Then it will be perfect. Sailing!
Yep.
And now it had taken all its sails down. This beautiful sailing ship.
Yeah. Yeah, we're moving from one side to the other on this island, and it's a sail about 12, 13 nautical miles. Very light winds, but we are not in any hurry, so we are sailing anyway. So we guess it will take, based on the wind, it could take 2.5 hours. It could also take 4.5 hours.
That's typical Mediterranean wind estimates.
Yeah.
I thought when we planned this trip that we were going to motor most of the way, so I'm very happy that we can sail. And it looks like Tintomara has got their sails up as well. Here you can see this amazing Mediterranean blue water. I'm always fascinated by this amazing color. Litza is joining us sailing today. But we have a line on her while we are sailing. We are healing more. But we are healing more than we usually do, so we actually have use for the little cup holder. I didn't thought that when I turned it around this morning. I just wanted to test it. And well, it works, and as a bonus it also keeps the thermos in place.
The blanket is moving. What can it be? Whee!
Hello. Hi, Litza. What are you doing? How fast are we going now?
6.5. Be too much for this. We have 12 knots of wind.
Should I prepare to take a little in?
We'll see if it goes up a little. We
reef a little.
We furl
Furling.
generally.
Yeah. That's one of the things with furling. We have both furling main and furling Genoa. It's quite easy to take a little sail in if you think it's too much. And that's why we also almost never heel, because we are comfortable sailors. So we sail for comfort, not for speed. But it's fun when it goes a little faster as well.
Let's just enjoy the view and the natural sounds for a moment to get into the sailing groove. Here it's a bit more windy, so the wind blows directly into the microphone. But listen to the water instead. Everything was going nicely, and then
There's divers in the water. We saw the flag a little late. There he is. Sorry. There's one more.
well, if our pass was not good, this could be really dangerous for them.
Divers just passed. They are there. Yeah. Here we will get the waves hitting. And now it goes really close to the boat where we were chasing after divers. And they will have big problems.
That was a little too exciting in my taste.
Now we have passed the corner. It's a nice sail we get today. This is really fun. But it's soon time for me to go down and make some burgers. It's still here. Ah. Nice view of Tintamara. This is hand steering.
Wind is turning all the time. You go by autopilot, sometimes you're way too low, sometimes you're way too high.
Yeah.
We're We're not sailing for full days, so just a couple of hours. So it's fun here.
I know you enjoy it from time to time. Even though it may look on the videos like we are always sailing on that island. That's not true. But this mess, I think I have to clean that up.
This one was better, but we can do a lot better than that.
Yeah, we can.
We're not going to win any marks for sailing with that.
Okay, so we can't say that we will go on and join the Buddies in Sail GP
No,
next
I
year.
think we need to talk better than that.
Okay. But it would be fun with a Swedish boat in Sail GP.
Yeah.
But there is a Swedish crew member on the Danish team. So. And I'm half Danish, so that's our team.
Anders was having so much fun in hand steering, so I wanted to try too.
Sailing in 10 knots of wind and 6.5 at the moment. I'm training or exercising on my hand steering skills, inspired by Anders. I'm not quite as fast, but it's more wind out here. So it's going fast.
So sailed for the Swedish national sailing team when he was young, trying to get to Olympics. So maybe it's not fair to compare with him. Thank you, Lotta and Tintamara, for the footage, and thank you for picking up the camera. It's not often we get video of ourselves sailing. And funny is that shortly after I turned my camera towards Tintamara.
I think I just broke my speed record of hand steering. 7.4 knots, according to Anders. I just saw 7.3, but he said it was 7.4 knots. Very happy. Yeah. Tomorrow's still sailing. We have just taken the sails down and we are preparing to anchor. But when it's this narrow, we usually go in for engine. And I know that Magnus and Lotta, they are more.
They sail all the way into the harbor, more or less.
Yeah. So we are going in there tomorrow. Tomorrow is going in there now. So they can check it out before we arrive. We love being at anchor. We feel that gives more freedom, more relaxed. Apart if somebody is anchoring too close. But I don't feel that is so big problem here as it was. Balearics was much worse. Here there's usually more room and it's like the culture is giving a little bit more space. Beautiful bay here. So, it's very well protected. Getting like narrower and narrower. So there's a little peninsula there. And there's another one there. And for each time, it's more or less equivalent on this side. So for each time, it gets a little bit more narrow. So our plan is to go in there, in the bottom. So we are passing the marina, the harbor. Now we are anchored. That one is the closest and he's 50 meters away and we'll talk to him and he's all right with us being here. This is Cala di Mole and it's protected for everything but east, and east is exactly what we got, and that is not in the forecast, of course. And we are using our anchor buoy. There, see if you can see it.
We have actually stopped using the buoy due to that it got tangled in our rudder once, so we feel that it's worse than not having it.
Our anchor snacks. We usually have a little snack after sailing. Nice here.
In the next video, we will check out the town, but thank you so much for watching. We will also head over to the mainland, where we will go up the river Devon, where we have a summer berth, and do a little bit of exploration in the Rome area before we fly home to Sweden. We stand with Ukraine. We hope you support them too.